Coming up on this Boston Lobsters broadcast, presented by Joan Norton Financial Services, you'll hear from American stars Eric Butorac and Irina Falcone. Also, 8-time Grand Slam champion and Tennis Hall of Famer Andre Agassi joins the Lobsters this year, as he will also be in the show. That's next, as this Boston Lobsters broadcast starts now. Hi everyone, I'm Harry Chickma here with a veteran from the Boston Lobsters, Eric Butorac. You're joining the team yet again, coming back to the Ferncroft Country Club. Eric, what do you like so much about playing for Boston?
Well, Boston's my hometown now. It's where I live. So for me, playing in my backyard in front of my friends and family, with the team that I played at now 3 years in a row, I'm really excited to be back, and I think it's hopefully going to be another great year.
And you've made Boston home for yourself now, so you obviously love the city. I mean, what is it about that city and being part of one of the richest sports franchises, so to speak, with Boston? What is it about that area that you love so much?
Well, the people in Boston, they love sports. They love all sports. They're into the Celtics, the Red Sox, and I think now that we've had a couple really good, successful World Team tennis seasons, people are starting to take notice of the Lobsters too.
Do you ever feel the pressure, though, playing there in Boston? I mean, you have rivalries with the New York Sport Times. It's almost like the Red Sox versus Yankees vying for those playoff spots. I mean, what's that pressure like?
Yeah, there is some pressure. I actually lost a match with a match point going both ways to New York 2 years ago at home, and it was a tough one to swallow. So I mean, it's why you practice. It's why you put so much time in to go out there and perform in front of all the people that you know, and hopefully get wins for them.
In the last 2 years, you guys have made the semifinals. You're trying to break through and make that final and hopefully win the World Team Tennis Championship. What's it going to take to do that?
Well, I think we got a great team coming back. I mean, with myself and Jan Michael, we've been pretty strong on the men's side. And then this year, bringing in Irina Falcone, who played for us last year, a top 100 woman. I think she's going to be a huge asset for us. And then a great doubles and mixed doubles player in Carrie Gullickson. I think we really have the right team formula. It's just a matter of whether we can get it done.
What do you like so much about Bud Schultz? I know he's helped you as a coach, as a person. How do you like Bud?
Bud's, one of the best coaches around. I use him as a coach even when I'm on the tour, not just in World Team Tennis. He's got great experience because he was on the tour himself, and just a really good calming influence as well. Sometimes you get a little too amped up out there, and to have a coach who really puts everything in perspective and can kind of keep you on the right path, he's really helped us out.
Kids going for their dreams like you played Division III tennis, and now you're one of the best players in the world. You've had great wins, seeded in Grand Slams. What would you tell a kid who is going for his dream?
Just make sure you enjoy it. I mean, you never really know how far you're going to get. When I first went out on the tour, I just thought, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to keep playing until I feel like I've reached, my top level. And here I am, 9 years later on the Pro Tour, still working hard, still doing my best, and really trying to embrace and enjoy every second of it.
What are your goals moving forward?
Just keep trying to improve my game. I spent a lot of years now in the top, 30, 40 in the world. I'd love to get myself into that kind of top 10 echelon of teams. Ideally win a Grand Slam someday, but those are just results. I'm all about just trying to really kind of become the best that I can be.
Well, congratulations. I know you got married recently as well, so it's good to see you doing well on and off the court.
Life's good, man.
Great. Eric Butorac with the Boston Lobsters, ready for another year. Harry Chickma with Eric. We'll be right back on this Boston Lobsters broadcast. Tennis is not the only focus for the Lobsters franchise, but the team is also driven by love and inspiration, as proven by tennis legend and former Lobster Carrie Melville Reid, who met her husband Grover Reid while they were both playing for the Lobsters in 1975.
We were drafted on the same team, and he walked into my life, and anyhow 3 weeks later we were dating, and a year later we were married. So, I love World Team Tennis, and I still have great memories of it.
After Grover retired from the Lobsters in 1977, he and Carrie got married, and she went on to win an Australian Open singles title with Grover as her coach, proving that love and tennis can be a perfect match.
It was great. We played at Walter Brown Arena, and we had good crowds, and we had Jan Turiak was our coach, so he was like very charismatic coach, and anyhow, I think it was just really great sports town, Boston, so we were lucky to play for.
And Carrie gives the Lobsters much of the credit for her amazing love story and historic career.
They certainly supported us and brought us a great big cake on our after our wedding when we came back. And I think they really loved that part of it, that we met and we played for that team for like 3 years. We played for them, so it was great. They were a great town.
There's a milestone this summer in Boston, as Hall of Famer Andre Agassi is an official member of the Lobsters roster.
It feels good to be connected to the game. It feels good that there's a format that lends for a lifestyle that involves a lot of philanthropy, a lot of family life, and a lot of business.
The 8-time Grand Slam champion and tennis icon suits up for the Lobsters when they travel to New York, and it will be all business for Andre when he goes head-to-head against fellow legend John McEnroe.
We push ourselves individually, and I think the competitiveness has changed as far as what we focus on, but we never stop sort of asking the most from ourselves. I think it's innate and it's part of our DNA at this point. But again, to be able to be out here and take it all in as opposed to having these moments go by, and during your career they'd fly by and you would kind of brush them off as if they're never going to end, and now we get to really absorb it all.
The former world number one is clearly one of the best players of all time, and he's ready to battle for Boston in 2012.
I love getting in the gym and lifting, and then I also, I also have to put a lot of attention to what I put in my body. I just can't get away with the things we used to, and that's the price of getting older. I think it's a losing battle, but if you can fight it as long as possible, it's a good thing.
In 1970, 9 legendary women's tennis players joined together to change history. Billie Jean King, Rosie Casals, Nancy Ritchie, Peaches Bartkowitz, Christy Pigeon, Valerie Ziegenfuss, and Julie Heldman. Also Australians Carrie Melville Reid and Julie Taggart Dalton. The original 9. These courageous women agreed to break away from the previous tennis tour, which didn't give women equal prize money as the men's professionals. The original 9 each signed a $1 contract and formed what is now known as the WTA Tour, ultimately starting a revolution as they fought for equality.
It definitely was our vision to have the game of tennis global. It was our vision that any little girl born in this world, if she were good enough, that she'd have a place to play and to make a living. And our dream has come true, and the players are actually living our dream.
Looking back, we didn't know it was going to be like this. We didn't know it was going to be this successful, but of course we hoped. And I have a daughter that played on the circuit, so she got to have some of the rewards of our pain and suffering. Not that it was that bad, but so to see this come this far, it's really very rewarding.
I don't think we realised, but when we were playing in that tournament in LA, and the prize money was just 8-1, we decided to break away. We didn't realise. Well, I didn't. Maybe Billie Jean did, but I didn't realise. We didn't know how it would turn out, but it turned out great. So
it was wonderful to be there at the start of women's pro tennis. We were there out of solidarity for each other about the future of women's tennis, and stood up for what we believed in, and we're very proud that the tour has done so well since then.
We took a huge chance, and none of us knew what the future was going to hold, but we thought, well, it's worth a chance to do it, and we did it, and look where we are, and history was made.
It's always nice to be on the ground floor of something and feel like you're part of history, because we are. I think, it was a time where we could be the pioneers of women's tennis, and when we look back at, the original 9, and we look forward, 42 years, here is women's tennis making millions of dollars, very global.
And I knew at the time with the people involved, like Billie Jean King and Rosie Casals and Gladys Hellman, that eventually it would be what it is today.
At this year's Family Circle Tennis Cup in Charleston, the original 9 were honored as part of their 40th anniversary. Atop the list was Hall of Famer and World Team Tennis co-founder Billie Jean King. Not only did she receive a warm welcome from the South Carolina fans, but she was also surprised with another major accolade, as the stadium facility was officially named Billie Jean King Court as a symbol of her bravery and leadership.
Your memories go back to that day in Houston when we're holding up that $1 bill and which was the birth of women's professional tennis. And I just remember how excited I was, but how scared I was. And seeing everybody last night and seeing the success of our tour in women's professional tennis, it's pretty awesome.
Other Hall of Famers and tennis heroes also paid their respect to the Original Nine's actions, which have helped pave the way for women and equality throughout the world.
Seeing the Original Nine in person for the first time, it was amazing, being with such greats on the same stage, and from Billie Jean, which I've seen most of the time at Grand Slams when I was playing, and I've seen her around, but like the other champions, you don't really, the originals, you never ever see them. I mean, even for them, it was like the second or third reunion, and so it was great to be on the same stage and be part of the family and being part of history, and it just felt great.
How have they helped you?
To have all of them there in one place talking about the rigors and what they had to go through to start women's tennis, and to kind of go against the system, to buck the USTA, to buck the Grand Slams, to really kind of go out on their own and take a risk like that was very important. And what's interesting is what that did along the line for other sports as well. So important that those Original Nine had such courage to do that and conviction.
They were the generation ahead of me, and I played a lot of them, and a lot of them were my idols, and it's just great. It's great to see every generation of tennis, and the older generation and my generation, and even the fact that Venus Williams was there was a big treat.
And many of the members of the Original Nine also competed in World Team Tennis, and they paid their respects to this league, which was co-founded by Billie Jean King and also represents competition and equality in sports.
And I like the concept. I like the fact that we were able to play with the men, and you had women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, the whole action right there in 2.5 hours. So, I mean, I think it's exciting, and I really feel that for the fans, they can come out and they can root and do whatever they want to do, and it's like you can clap while they're playing. I mean, how much more fun can you have?
Just another example of how sports and positive leadership can help change history throughout the world.
When working on your serve, you want to remember there are 3 sources to power behind that serve: your legs, your shoulder and your arm, and then the turn of your torso.